Okay, and welcome everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. I think everybody knows everyone here, it seems like, but for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Kari Evans. I'm the Club Growth Director, and I have my collab partner in crime, TMBFF, Biffer, AJ Hopper.
Public Relations Manager, Kari Evans Jr., whatever you want to call me.
And
I love it.
Yes, and we do this bi-weekly. We try to share information that is helpful for promoting and marketing your club and getting started with new members. And we do have a special guest that has joined us, our esteemed District Director, Karen Doyle. And she's awake.
Hey there, everyone. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good, good.
And then we have a special guest also that has graciously agreed to talk about new member orientation. One of the co-chairs of the member experience team, Hope Harrison, and the other co-chair, Renisha Allen, will be joining shortly. And so I will let Hope get started. She's going to talk about new member orientation and all the fantastic things that the member experience team has been working on related to that. So take it away, Hope.
Thank you, Kari. Welcome, my esteemed fellow Toastmasters, our VPMs and VPPRs. You guys are an integral part of every Toastmasters club, and we definitely couldn't do anything without growth and promoting our clubs. So thank you for all you do. My name is Hope Harrison. I am serving as one of your co-chairs for the membership experience team, and my home club is Global Impactors Toastmasters. What I'd like to talk to you about today is the onboarding process. As part of the membership experience team, one of the things that we wanted to make sure was that as new members on board, that it's a seamless process and somewhat effortless. We want their experience to be rewarding. And as we all know, there's so much valuable information that we all can garner from Toastmasters International. But if there isn't someone to kind of help them navigate that process, sometimes it can seem a little daunting. Toastmasters took the initiative of providing us with a really nice, robust onboarding slide presentation. And we decided to break that presentation up into 4 sections. So we envisioned 4 C's. We thought it might be easy to remember the 4 C's. So the first of which is community. The first of which is community. The second, community is actually my area that I focus on. Kari, can you put them up for me, please? So what I wanted to do, so what Toastmasters did is with this this slide presentation, they even encouraged you to break it up into small sections or nuggets so that the onboarding process would not be overwhelming for a new member. And with that, as soon as Kari can pull it up, if you were to go to the Toastmasters D44 website and you see the drop-down screen under club members, if you scroll down to new member orientation and click on that, what you will see, first of all, if you'll scroll down all the way to the large, so you've joined Toastmasters. This is a wonderful slide. There's no audio with it, but you can break this particular presentation up any way that you like. So it includes, your goals as a Toastmaster, your club meeting roles, Earl, I remember you asking about the club meeting roles and if there's an actual presentation that goes over those functionary roles that it takes to run a meeting. And then the Toastmasters Pathway Learning Experience, mentoring, leadership opportunities, next steps, and the member support and club expectations. So this is a 41 slide presentation. And I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't know that I would want to sit through a 41 slide presentation at a new member orientation experience. I think that might be a little overwhelming. So what we decided to do is break it up into 4 sections. The first C, and we decided that we were going to provide audio for all of these. So if you want to click on and get started. So the first one was commitment. When we first started talking about the new member orientation process, it was time to renew. It was renewal time. And so we talked about the commitment. And it wasn't so much about, the commitment that it takes to be a part of Toastmasters. It was really about what Toastmasters was going to commit to each new member. So it's sort of a 2 or 3 pronged approach, kind of what your commitment is to Toastmasters and what you want to get out of it, but also, and more importantly, what Toastmasters can bring to the table. The second C was culture, and each individual club certainly has its own individual culture, and each club can define what that culture looks like. The third is community, and that's the support system that you have within Toastmasters. So certainly your club members, but if you look to the area directors and the district directors, even the international executive staff, and you can certainly, especially in this virtual world, you can actually visit clubs in other countries. So no man is an island, or no woman is an island within Toastmasters, and there's a large community to support you in your efforts. And the fourth C is crucial conversations, and it means just what it says. Crucial conversations that may need to take place within your organization. They don't have to be anything where there's some adversarial topic of conversation, but just things that are going to help move you along in your process as well as your club. So I'll stop there. Are there any questions so far? Okay, so does everyone know how to find this information within the D44 website?
It looks like Renisha has joined us as well.
Awesome.
Hi, Kari.
Hey, Renisha.
My apologies, my last commitment ran over, so I was rushing to get to you guys. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I was listening to Hope go through an exploration of the 4 C's and kind of our inspiration behind it. And also, I guess right now we're plugging in where this lives on the D44 website so everybody can easily access it.
Well, Hope, I've seen it before, but if you want to give us the link or kind of show us or tell us how to get there, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. So if you go to the D44 website, which is d44toastmasters.org, and once you get to that site, if you go under membership, and I'm doing this all by memory because all I see right now is Earl's face. Your very handsome face there, Earl. And then there's a drop-down menu, and the first thing that you'll see is new member orientation. I'm doing that by memory. I did it right. So under club members.
Club members, new member orientation.
Orientation, okay.
And so the first C for commitment, that first video is one that the illustrious Renisha Allen actually did. And Renisha, would you like to expound upon kind of the rationale? But
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
One of the first things we wanted to do in the orientation is get the learner slash Toastmaster slash leader acclimated to the world of Toastmasters, and everything that we do right now education wise centers on pathways. So the first C is dedicated to commitment, is understanding what you signed up for. And we showed them the flexibility of the pathways program, how it fits into everyday life, how it's applicable. And we walk through all of the paths and bring out the real world elements to it so that you don't feel like you're just doing busy work, but there's some progress, there's some growth, and there's some development that is acquired when you choose your path. And we talk to them about choosing their path. We promote them taking the assessment. We do a conversation about the navigator, and we also walk through the fundamental elements of each path. So if they're looking to grow in this area or that area, our job and commitment is to show them, hey, Toastmasters is your perfect recipe. If you want some gumbo with andouille sausage and shrimp and okra, you need to choose this path. If you want fettuccine Alfredo with sliced blackened chicken, you need to choose this path. If you're vegan and you said bump meat, I don't eat that, choose this path. You guys, I'm only going that way because I'm hungry. But the goal is to customize it for the Toastmaster. So it's their commitment, and the first order of commitment is actually getting plugged in to something you want to work toward. We also mentioned something very important in this first module, which is setting SMART goals for yourself. For a lot of us in the workforce, this should sound familiar, but in case it's not, we break down the acronym SMART goals, because everything that you do, you need to be very specific about it. It needs to be measurable, it needs to be attainable, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to be time-based. And so this is our encouragement as they choose their path, set up those SMART goals for achieving great things in those paths. And then we do what most restaurants do if they do a good job. They prepare you for what's coming up next. So we prepare them for their second course. After we address commitment, we then begin to start talking about culture. We think that culture is very, very important. You all know when someone signs up to be a part of something and it's not a good fit, I don't care how good it sounds. If I don't have good fitness, I'm probably not going to stick with it. So when we dive into culture, there's some of the things that we talk about is, what is Toastmasters culture? What should you expect? What's going to be surrounding you? What's the environment? Ultimately, we're signing up to be lifelong learners. And that is what we are able to acquire from that. Ms. Chisholm, I see you had your hand raised, and I apologize for rushing into my commentary. Did you have a question you wanted to ask as we go further?
I did, thank you. This is wonderful. I mean, D44 is on it as far as resources for our club. I wanted to ask, how do you envision, or how would you roll this out? Would you do one-on-ones, and what would the frequency, or how much time between each C? Would you do also small group when you're bringing in new people, when you're onboarding?
This is a great question, great question. I'd like to make a couple of proposals to you. For personal experience, at my local club, we do something called members only meeting. So these are invites that only go out to members, no visitors invited. And it's kind of like a family huddle up. In those meetings, we're having very frank conversations about the VPE's role specifically, because honestly, that coupled with membership is a true success of the club. You got healthy membership, and then healthy people achieving their goals. You know, they're running forward, they're progressing. So I would propose you could do this individually with the mentor, and that can flow through the VPE that sets up the mentorship program in the club, or even try the small group approach. So in our club, we do our members only. We kind of break out in pods and work together as groups. So if I'm a veteran, you're a veteran, somebody else is a veteran at this members only meeting, and then let's say Earl's a newbie, we would walk Earl through that, say, Earl, go ahead and watch this. After you watch it at the next members only meeting or our next hold up, we're going to include a few minutes to discuss any questions you have, how we can help, and how you can take it to the next level. Honestly, in each club, it'll work the way you work it. It's really up to you. But I would propose depending on what the members' progress is, let's go ahead and get all 4 modules done in healthy increments. What that looks like for each individual, you may want to ask them, hey, how well can you consume information? Neither of these modules are exceeding 15 minutes. So perhaps they want to take a week and just dive through all 4 parts in a week, or take 2 weeks, do 2 parts in 1 week. You know, part 1, we dealt with commitment and culture. Then in part 2, we're going to begin to talk about our community and crucial conversations. And then based on those 4 C's that we've envisioned for the learner and the Toastmaster, you know, who knows, the mentor can include that as a part of their goals. How would you like to be more a part of community? How would you like to embrace more culture? When the stakes are high, how do you approach crucial conversations? And then the backdrop, you have this webinar series that's backing you and is giving you talking points. So, you know, maybe 2 1 week and 2 the next week. We have working adults. So I think the way you want to work it in your club, I would say don't go a whole month without having all 4 done. At least do them within a 30-day period. That would be my top recommendation, because you've already taken up a third of a quarter.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Great question, by the way. I don't think we thought about that in FAQs. So it's nice to be where leaders are made, because we learn from other leaders. Good stuff. Good stuff. I see some more familiar faces. Hey, AJ. How you doing? I hadn't seen you in forever.
It has been a long time. Good to see you.
Yes, yes.
Do we have any
so
other questions?
Questions for the first 2, and you know, me and Hope are more than happy to take questions even about the next 2 or anything else that you want to ask about accessing this. So you see where it lives, and mainly this is going to be promoted for all new members. Some clubs don't have like a true packet to give the new members, so this is the district's offering for that. You know, we can't satisfy everything in the club, because the clubs still have their own autonomy to a degree. And so the district will go to a certain degree, but we're empowered to give them the tools. And then we just need them to use the tools that have been put in place. Because each club has its own culture, honestly. I know mine does.
Absolutely. And I've kind of rolled this out a little differently. I do try and do group settings, because I feel like we can all feed off of one another. So generally speaking, if we have 2 to 4 members come in at a time, and Earl is our VP of membership, and he's done a wonderful job recruiting new members in our club. We started out this year with only 12 members that renewed, and we're now up to 20, I believe. Wow. So, I mean, he's really been killing it on the recruiting front. So kudos to you, Earl. And what I generally like to do is, first, I send out a welcome letter. And I actually received this welcome letter from Renisha's group. And so Kari, if I can share my screen for just a second.
Okay.
Let me see if I.
And Hope, while you're transitioning there, I just want to offer this advice too. When we begin to think about a new member coming into our clubs, kind of think about when you're a new employee at a company. You know, you get tons of information. You probably sit through an orientation. So that's kind of the look and feel we're going for the Toastmaster. Now, we don't expect to give them like a big tall binder or anything like that, but you're at least giving them some paths to success and how to get acclimated into this new world. You know, they just signed up. They know a little bit of information, probably from visiting the clubs, but now membership takes on a different form than guest level. And, you know, they're making an investment. So our way of showing them what they're getting back from this investment is like this welcome letter. In the welcome letter, there are hyperlinks and information to get them started. So they don't have to search for information. Have you ever been in a place where you're like, oh, I got to save all these things as a part of my favorites? You get something from over here, something from over there. This letter is designed to take all those complexities and make it very easy to digest.
And I can drop this into the chat. But this is the letter that she's speaking of with the various hyperlinks. So it just welcomes them to the club, and it talks about how to set up your login, because say, for instance, maybe you aren't completely in the Toastmasters system yet, you can still go in and create your Toastmasters login. So that's the first step. You certainly want to create your Toastmasters login. And then there's a nice welcome video embedded in when you click on this hyperlink from Toastmasters International. Let me see if it actually comes up here. Takes you directly to the Toastmasters website. There's a nice video from Richard Peck himself that's very warm and welcoming. The third hyperlink is, or actually second hyperlink is the club meeting roles. Back to you, Mr. Earl, when you were talking about the club meeting roles. So each of the functionary roles are explained here from the counter to the general evaluator. And then it goes into the pathways education program, and each of the pathways is listed, and it, you can click on each one and find out a little bit about each path. And then it just talks about the Toastmasters magazine. That's, I believe it's all digital now. I don't know if we still actually receive the paper copies. And then our club utilizes, I put a note in here about our next meeting that's coming up. And then our club utilizes TurboBase. A lot of clubs utilize Toast Host so that people can sign up for their actual meeting roles. So that's pretty much what the welcome letter entails. And then I set up a time to actually conduct new member orientation. And like I said, I try and do that in a group. And then I set up individual meetings to kind of talk to each individual new member about their goals and aspirations and what they actually want to get out of Toastmasters. Because I'm serving as my host club's VPE right now. Any questions?
No, but I would like to just make a comment, Hope.
Mm-hmm.
This has been very effective. The last few members that we've added, I think we do a pretty good job of making our members feel very, very comfortable when they join, creating a welcoming environment, and also, hosting some really entertaining and exciting meetings. But one of the differences that I've noticed this year compared to last year is when a new member does join, a lot of the questions that they had in the past, like last year, compared to this year, they're all answered in this letter. So like Renisha was saying, it's a one-stop, shop. Everything you need is right here in the letter. And I think it just helps to cement our perception of being very professional and organized and getting people off on the right track. So yeah, kudos to you for putting this together. This is good.
There's a question in the chat for somebody who is on their cell phone right now and would like to know the link for the letter.
Oh, let me drop that into the chat.
And then for either Renisha or Hope, we do have other officer roles on the line. We have some VPPRs on here, and I'm sure there's other roles. How would you suggest as a club officer team that they'd roll through this orientation together?
Renisha, would you like to take that one?
Sure, absolutely. I honestly just see the circle of life with all the officers. So if we're going to tackle this thing together, one of the first things that happens is people are lured to your club because of the VPPR's efforts. So they've done their job advertising. And then once the person says, hey, I'd like to join, VPM ideally has that application ready to take the pecunia. And so they can, transfer that into the bank account and get it in. Then next, there should be a conversation that's being had with the VPE. So VPM has collected money, given it to the treasurer. They've already placed that away where it needs to go. So with the VPE, one of my recommendations I've always offered is VPEs definitely need a committee in their clubs. I would not recommend they go at it alone, just from experience. One of the top committees should be a mentorship committee. And then it should also be just a group of people that just don't mind helping them out with responsibilities. So if you have a lot of club members, it might help if the VPE designates, A through F to this person, that's the subcommittee, and so on and so forth through the alphabet. And what I say is, after the person takes their assessment for Pathways, we explain what Pathways is. We understand their why for joining Toastmasters, because even if Pathways is not like all that fascinating to them, we need to answer the fact that our organization is a solution to their issue, and it answers their why. So thus far, we've worked with over 50% of the officers so far. And I would recommend that as the Vice President of Education is monitoring how everyone's progressing through their goals, they're taking the opportunity to listen to some feedback, maybe execute some surveys with your people to see how well is the mentorship going? Are you getting what you need so that we don't fall off? Because what good is it to hand over this productive orientation, but orientation is not met by retention? And that's how we get people plugged in. So that's how I see us moving forward. Having those constant conversations with your mentor. How long do you need your mentor? Be honest. I need my training wheels for 6 months. I need my training wheels for 3 months. Be honest about that. And then as we are measuring those goals, VPM is winning because I want a person. I kept them in the club. VPE is winning because I'm keeping them engaged. They're still on target with their why. And then PR is not only just targeting guests, but it's still doing something with a wow factor to keep even the members excited about it. So members will use that advertisement to say, did you just see our new thing on Facebook? Did you just see the new text that went out? There's chatter that's going around. So everybody really is playing a part in this. And then overseers, presidents, you're paying attention to the culture and the climate that you've set for the club. You're executive leader. You're the visionary of it. Is this fitting into the vision that you see for your Toastmasters year and for what we call your office? What did you set for your first days in office? What have you bound yourself to? What have you obligated yourself to? Sergeant at Arms, are you doing a great job making sure when people walk in, this is just a good example if we were live, there's coffee on the table. That's the culture of our club. We've got music and ambiance set. That's the culture of our club. So everybody's playing a key element. And then secretaries, they're the historians of the matter. They're documenting everything. I can flip back and say, yep, when we had 25 people in the meeting, we were on fire. But when we had 12 people in the meeting, we dropped the ball. I have notes. I'm showing our history, our patterns, our trends. And so that's just how I see the whole full circle of this going. My other recommendation, take advantage of those members only meetings. It's not the regular club meeting. This is just us coming together, having discussions. And then those discussions, guess what's leading those meetings, which is what should be leading officers meetings? Moments of truth. I would always keep moments of truth and let that be the engine that drives everything that I do. Moments of truth is very practical, and moments of truth are real. And moments of truth will set you up for DCB goals. DCB goals says we got healthy growth and we've got good quality. That's what they're saying. Not that we're just bringing in trophies, but no, our people have a quality program. They're growing, and since they're growing, they decided to stay a part of our growing number. So I would have all those officers, the way I just explained it, let them be the characters in the movie. And I would say let the main person that hits center stage be the Toastmaster that we have, that new person that's walking in. Are they getting everything they need? We drew them in, we got their money. Now, are we responsible with their time and in the club? Are we maximizing time in the club? And let's leave some time for Q&A at the end of the club meeting. Is anybody still struggling with pathways? Okay, great. We're going to be talking about that at the members only meeting. If you have a question in the interim, have an open line of communication. I think when we have members not just locked into that hour or hour and a half, but we have an open line of communication where they can reach out with the questions and there's open dialogue, I see that as a successful club. And it's not just, hey, AJ, you didn't get your 3 speeches in like you said you were going to do back in 2020. Or, hey, AJ, how are the kids? AJ, how was your master's degree? AJ, how's your husband? All of that fits into the Toastmasters life. Some of us are introverts and extroverts, but you'd be surprised if you just ask a person a little bit of detail about themselves, then they feel like, hey, I kind of let that get in the way. I do need to show up to the meeting and do that speech. They were counting on me. They were anticipating my speech. I need to do that. I need to grow. I've seen that light bulb kind of click with some people.
Reaching out to that member that you haven't seen in a while too.
Reaching out to that person you haven't seen in a while. People go AWOL and they're just like, oh, they won't miss me.
Just showing that you care.
Yeah.
brings them back.
Just showing that you
Thank
care.
you guys for that information. That has really given a lot to our VPMs and VPPRs. We are coming on 30 minutes, and so I wanted to check in with everyone because we do try to keep this to 30 minutes. We have promised 30 minutes, but we want to offer, if anyone wants to continue and has any more questions, we are glad to stay on and answer any questions. And Hope we can send a copy of the letter.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna have to send that because it's forwarding. I'm not able to drop it in right now. I can't shrink it down for whatever.
If you send that to me, Hope, and I'll send it out. I send a recording of the meeting and information about the next one, so I can attach that with it.
Thank you.
Good
You're
stuff.
welcome.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come on. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you.
I love chatting with our members and leaders. I don't really ever get tired of it. So just, thank you for allowing us to have this place and this opportunity.
Yep.
Hope is a dynamic partner. So if you guys ever need some extra wisdom, just know that she is an awesome rocks. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank
And
you, Renisha.
It will continue to do good things. So thank you, Kari. Thank you.
Thank you, Kari.
Yes.
Thank you, Hope and Renisha. Appreciate you spending the time with us and sharing our words of wisdom.
Yes. And shout out to our distinguished Toastmaster, the district director herself, Karen Doyle. Karen Doyle.
Okay. Any more questions or anything you want to discuss while we're still here?
I'm looking forward to this recording going on our website.
Great information.
All right. All right. Thank you for coming.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here with us.
Everyone.
And I'm going to start calling this the Kari and AJ show.
I like that.
All right.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Later. Thank you.